Have you guys? I know. I don't know if you talked about it on Daily. I know you made a video about Red One.
Yeah.
How much money is that movie going to lose?
Well, here's the thing. So it's a $250 million budget movie. That was originally like Amazon greenlit this to go on their streaming service. And then a decision was made, hey, we might as well release this in theaters. From my understanding, $100 million in marketing went into marketing for this movie, specifically for theatrical release. So it's made $50 million internationally in 2 weekends. It made $32 million domestically. Who knows what it'll end up at? Will it have any pull over the holidays? Because it is a Christmas movie. I don't know. But it's kind of tough because it's one of those movies where what a fucking retarded idea to give Chris Evans and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson $250 million for a holiday action movie for a streaming service, right? Like that was the idea in principle. So by just releasing it in theaters, even if it doesn't make money at the box office, I suppose they are recouping some of that money that they would have just fucking straight up lost. But it's kind of tough to determine. Like if you're just looking at it from a theatrical release, yeah, it's going to lose a shit ton of money.
Yeah, I mean, like I've got the Criticless, page pulled up, and it's got a 53% collectively from people so far. I don't think people are hating this movie that have actually seen it. I think that people have this idea that Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans are movie stars. We know for a fact that Chris Evans is not a movie star. There's an argument to be made that The Rock is, but I don't think he's the movie star that Hollywood thinks he is or that the media portrays him as. And that's really what this comes down to. I mean, Chris Evans, has he done anything outside of Captain America that would be deemed a success at the box office? I can't think of anything.
You're talking about since he was in the MCU or whatever?
Yeah.
Probably not.
He has nothing. He has absolutely nothing.
The thing with The Rock is, and people need to start getting this shit out of their head, the $250 million budget movies, very few movies, period, are going to be able to make money on something like that. Now, when you have The Rock with his, like, I don't know, fucking skyscraper and his weird, was it a gorilla movie?
Rampage.
Yeah, Rampage.
Rampage actually I enjoyed the hell out of Rampage.
Like, if you're making movies like that and you're getting $400 million of the global box office, $450 million, something like that, and you're only spending $125 million, that's reasonable, right? You can make money on that. That's bankable. But if you're talking about something that's not attached to anything else, something that's original idea, the idea of a $250 million budget for something like this, when you were never going to release in theaters, you're just going to put it on streaming. It's insane. Like it doesn't make any possible business sense. And this is kind of in line with what we saw from Apple. Now, for Apple to make these $200 million movies to put on their streaming services, I think that's kind of a bad financial decision, period. But for them to release it in theaters before it goes to their streamer, at least that kind of makes sense. Apple's a fairly small streaming service compared to all of these other ones out there. So, okay, you can justify that, maybe using that as an advertisement as well to get people to sign up to your streamer. Prime is one of the biggest ones out there. So many people already have fucking Prime. So it's hard pressed for me to imagine that the idea of Red One releasing in theaters is going to be a good advertisement for Prime streaming service.
Yep. Yeah, this is a big wake up call for both of these guys. And but you're right. Even still, even if they are movie stars, $250 million budget, that's reserved for like your top tier Marvel movies is what a budget like that should be, reserved for, or a top tier Star Wars movie, some big tentpole film, not fucking Red One.
Yeah, things that you feel are almost a guaranteed stamp it on $1 billion, like as it goes.
Yeah.
Even like we talked about this for fucking Mission Impossible. If you're making Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning for $280 million, you're basically guaranteeing you're not going to make money, right?
Yeah.
Like not a single Mission Impossible movie would have made a profit at that budget.
Yeah.
So like when you're making decisions like that, it does not make financial sense to do so. And when it comes to Red One, they probably see anything they get at the box office as just kind of, hey, that's something. So, like, from their perspective, if it makes $200 million at the box office, are they going to view that as a massive total flop and failure? I don't know, because they're always just planning on putting on the streamer anyway.
Well, if you guys have not, you can go over to Criticless, and it's essentially a Rotten Tomatoes alternative, but with free speech. And I really like the site. There's a Geeks and Gamers community over there. So 100% free to go over there and check it out. If you're interested, they have an app on Android and Apple, and I enjoy it. Everybody's enjoyed it that went over to the site. The site's really good. The app is really good. And you'll be seeing us over there a lot more, so make sure you check it out.
Yeah. And I mean, The Rock, obviously, you can look at some of the movies he's been in. The Fast movies, that's a franchise, right? It's not like The Rock is the reason those things became big. Now, certainly he added a lot to it, I think, when you look at the Fast and Furious franchise. Those two Jumanji movies both did really well at the box office. That is a pre-established thing, but it still felt like kind of like, it's not like the idea of it having Jumanji stamped on it is what made it make $1 billion. Like,
yeah.
So you have a couple things with The Rock that are massive, big successes. More so than Chris Evans outside of the MCU, certainly.